We're at the last day of the trading month on 30th of September. However, we look at how trade unfolded on the 29th. It's been a roller coaster of a September month. And of course, we left on Tuesday wondering where bond yields were headed. They were headed in a single direction, which is upwards, while markets had created a bit of a mayhem. That trend kind of reversed on Wednesday, with the US markets beginning to gain and bond yields beginning to ease a bit. The Dow ended around 0.25% higher. The S&P 500 was up around 16 basis points, and the Nasdaq closed down around 0.25%. Again, bond yields hurting tech stocks, so the Nasdaq continued its downward trend. Even in European markets, the sell-off has been curtailed to a certain extent as bond yield fears have subsided. The DAX was up 0.75%, reversing some of Tuesday's losses. The FTSE 100 too continued that trend up around over 1%. In fact, almost 1/5% after spending Tuesday again entirely in the red. CSE 40 gained around 85 basis points, again reversing Tuesday's fall, and the stock 600 rose for the first time this week, was up around 0.6 or 0.75% in trade on Wednesday. Moving on to how Asia was looking, Japan was looking lower, so the Nikkei fell steeply, 2% down in trade yesterday. The Nikkei has been particularly volatile in recent weeks, and that trend continues. The Shanghai was down again 1.83% lower in trade yesterday. The Hang Seng was probably the only major Asian index which was up around 0.2% in trade yesterday. The ASX 200 ended the day over 1%, almost 1/10% lower in trade. And the Kospi was down over 1/5% in trade. How has today morning started? The Asia Pacific stocks have started absolutely mixed. Investors await China's September factory activity data, and the Nikkei is down around 9 basis points in early trade today. ASX 200 is up around 1% in trade, and the Kospi is absolutely flat, in fact trading with a negative bias, down around 1 basis point in early trade today. Excuse me. The SGX Nifty Futures closed around 0.1% lower in trade yesterday, and was down for a third day in a row on Wednesday, mind you. SGX Nifty Futures is down almost 0.5% in early trade on Thursday as well. So negative cues coming at least for the Indian markets pack. Moving on to commodities, the London Metal Exchange was down for a third day in a row. The index was down around 1/10% in trade. Oil has stabilized a bit, is above the $75 a barrel mark. Brent is almost at the $79 a barrel mark. Gold has retreated as the dollar taper, as the bond taper program looms. Gold is at roughly $17.30 an ounce in early trade today. The real mover amongst the commodities pack was iron ore. Iron ore rose almost 7% plus, almost 7.5% in fact in trade yesterday. Moving on to how the dollar index has moved. The dollar index gained for a fourth day in a row. That means lower liquidity flows for Asian markets, of course, and was up a solid 0.75% in trade yesterday. The dollar index is currently trading in flat, in fact with a negative bias, down 3 basis points in early trade today. The US 10-year treasury yields, which is what has been in focus of late, is at around 1.51% in early trade today. The Bitcoin was up almost 3% in early trade, almost at the $43,000 mark. That's a wrap from our side. Thank you so much.